What's up, everybody? This is Steve Strelacci, and today we are looking at upgrading the cheapest guitar that I personally own. This was sent to me by Glarry Instruments. Apparently, they just kind of offer a guitar to anybody who has a YouTube channel, and they send out a free guitar. They are very cheap, low-end budget guitars that I think aesthetically are really beautiful, so I thought it would be a great opportunity to really mod this thing out and make it into a beast of a player guitar. So here it is. This awesome blue finish. I really love the blue burst type of finish, and I was really excited to get it and put it through its paces and see what this thing was all about. And I quickly learned that there's a reason that this thing is 120 bucks, and there are a bunch of glaring issues that really needed to be addressed immediately. So the guitar will not stay in tune. We are gonna scrap the nut. The nut is probably the worst part of the guitar, and a couple of other issues, including the bridge is not exactly in the right place, so the strings kind of come out in a weird place. The saddles are probably okay, but I'm going to replace them anyway with some nice high-end Wilkinson stuff. And yeah, we are going to turn this thing into a beast, so let's do it. I'm going to plug into my Helix so you guys could hear what this sounds like stock. It will not stay in tune because of these nut issues. If you take a closer look at this nut, it's not even sitting in the right place. There's a gap in between the fretboard and the nut, and it's a, obviously it's a plastic nut, as to be expected, but it's cut very poorly and kind of just thrown in there. It actually looks like this is supposed to be a 0 fret or something. There's like a fret marker in there where a fret should be inserted and is not. So the nut is actually spaced away from it, but I'm going to be replacing that with a Graphtec nut, which is always a nice, easy drop-in, really easy and cheap upgrade for any guitar. I would definitely suggest putting in one of the pre-slotted Graphtec nuts. They're self-lubricating, they never stick, they never bind, and I have them in most of my guitars, and I love them to death. We're also going to be replacing the tuners with Graphtec ratio tuners. These tuners probably won't hold in tune as well. The nut is so bad that I can't even really tell you if it stays in tune through the tuners or not, because the nut is so poorly done. But I'm just gonna scrap the tuners while we're at it, because might as well. I don't want to have to string this thing up twice. And we're gonna be putting the new Gatekeeper pickups from Porter Pickups. They are his new budget line. They're $100 for a set, and I'm hoping that they sound really good. We're gonna find out. I haven't tried them yet. But I'm going to leave the electronics alone, though. The switch feels fine, the knobs feel fine, and the input jack is actually pretty nice feeling. So I'm going to keep that the same, and I'm basically going to switch out the big necessities that need to be fixed. So we're going to go through it together and see what we can do with this thing. Okay, so as you can unfortunately hear, it does not play in tune. I mean, you could tune the strings all you want. It will not play open chords in tune to save its life. So let's get after it. The frets actually are pretty decent. They're not sharp, so we're probably going to leave the ends alone, but I'm definitely going to clean them up because I guess coming from China, they wind up really dirty, so I'll probably polish them up and make them shine like new, and I hope I could save this thing. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's take everything off. Okay, so now that we're down to just the husk, seeing more and more issues. Obviously, you saw from the close-ups, there's some painting issues. There's some weird stuff going on in the different cavities. The nut slot is going to be a major problem. I'm going to have a hard time digging that out and figuring out what to do there. You could see that there's like literally a slot for a fret, so this is probably just from being mass-produced. And I guess just on the line, they cut in 22 frets and called it a day. So I'm going to have to figure something out for that. It should be fine just pressing the nut, but making sure that it gets against the fretboard. Next step is going to be polishing and cleaning up these frets. So let's get to it. I'm going to be using this Frine polishing kit. I'm not sponsored or anything by them. I found this on Amazon. It actually works really great. I do it to all my guitars now. It's safe to use on plain maple boards, so you don't have to worry about like the lemon oil ruining any wood. And works really good. So let's polish up these frets. Alright, so I had to take a little bit of a break and now I'm coming back to it, and I suppose what's next is going to be mounting the pickups in and installing them. A little bit of a snag here. The holes here don't exactly line up with the holes here, but I'm gonna see if I can make it work. It was kind of like that before, as you saw, and I don't know if I have the time or patience to want to dowel these and re-drill them, so I'm gonna just see what happens forcing some screws in. What you're about to see is very unprofessional. Do not learn from this part. So while doing the bridge install, I realized something that Wilkinson just saved my butt. This bridge is also a top-loading bridge. So that just saved me a ton of work, because now instead of having to re-drill all these holes that don't line up, I'm just going to top load it. And now it's going to be a top loader thin line. Nice. Alright, so it's the next day, and I spent all of last night finishing this up and getting it to play halfway decent. Here you see we're all put back together. Really nice bridge. It's now a top-loading bridge, which, as I explained, the Wilkinson plate offers the option to become a top loader here, meaning that the strings now go just directly through there. this hole was so misaligned that I had to do it that way, and I don't mind it. It makes the strings slack a little bit and has a different feel to it. Also, the original saddles that you might have seen in the earlier pictures didn't work. The screw here wasn't long enough, so I had to replace them with regular Wilkinson compensated brass saddles, which is no complaint at all about. And now we are all together. I spent a lot of time getting the nut kind of okay and at least looking pretty decent, good enough to play at least. And I think it's going to be an okay player. So without further ado, here is the after. Let's go with the bridge pickup. This is with the Porter Gatekeeper pickups for a Telecaster. Let's do it. It's got a lot more volume and sustain to itself acoustically now. Now it rings out like a proper Thinline, a proper semi-hollow body guitar. And the neck is still okay. I feel like now that the action's a little bit lower, I can get a better feel for what the neck's about. I would consider getting this rolled or rolling it myself or trying to learn how, but I don't have the time or patience to do it. It's fully playable as is. Maybe the frets could use a little bit more work in the future, maybe a little bit more. Maybe I should sand them a little bit and maybe a little bit more steel wool to get them a little smoother. There's still a little jaggedness in there, but not a huge deal. Overall, I'm really happy with how this guitar came out. Let's play with it a little bit more and go through some more sounds. So here we got clean bridge pickup again. So now it twangs like a guitar should. Let's hit a little bit of crunch. Before with the other pickups, you couldn't even do that. It was squealing and feeding back on me. So now you can at least have an overdriven sound. Go to the neck pickup with the crunchy. Now we have a guitar that is giggable, able to stay in tune, feels great, plays great, and sounds great now. This was a lot of fun to do, a lot of fun to put together. If you guys have any questions about any of the gear used in this video, or you want to, ask questions about how I went about anything, ask them in the comments below. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video and hanging out with me during it. Thank you to the Gatekeeper Pickups and Graph Tech for sponsoring the parts for this video. Also Wilkinson. Really appreciate the support from you guys. This guitar is now a beast because of your products. So thank you guys for those. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.